There's 2 lessons to learn. You got to watch where you park, and you don't run your mouth until the final game's over, boys.
Centering pass, McDavid scores!
Hello, I'm Josh.
And I'm Katie, and we're Fresh Breath.
We're the Band in the Van. This is the Band in the Van podcast, episode 31.
Whoop, whoop.
On this episode, we discuss getting woken up by the police.
Yes.
We also discuss not running your mouth until the buzzer goes at the end of the game.
That's right. Go Team Canada. We're going to get into it.
So let's get to it.
Band in the Van podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
We are back. Let's get that 15-minute timer rolling.
Good to go.
All right, so this week on the South Padre Island, it has been
Cold.
and troublesome. There has been a few events that have happened.
Yeah, last week we were just seeing the tip of the iceberg, I guess.
Yeah, the old, just...
I guess it was 2 weeks ago, right? Because we skipped last week because we were like overwhelmed.
The turtle head poking out.
What? Oh, what?
Let's just say 2025 has been crazy.
25 is an interesting thing. So let's we'll start off with some weird things that happened to us this year. So Katie and I have been living the van life, not full time, but doing it for about 5 years.
Since 2019, but it was like, yeah.
Yeah,
But 2020 was a wash, so yeah.
And we've only got the dreaded knock twice.
Who is it?
Dave, man, come on, man, open up. I think the cops.
Dave's not here.
Twice.
Where like we're parked somewhere that you're not supposed to be. And,
You go to bed thinking
yeah.
you're good, and then you wake up with someone knocking at the van.
Yeah, and usually it's at an ungodly hour. Dude, stop that, man. And, sorry, the dog, yeah, cut it out. Leave that alone. The dog's just scratching at her ear, and it just sounds awful. So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, stop doing that. But we can edit that out or
Yeah,
leave it in.
whatever.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, so it was about 6 in the morning,
hide all this
6:30 in the morning. Oh, hide the creams. It looks unprofessional.
Hide the lubes.
the quality of the podcast goes down when the hand creams are in the background of this high quality.
The illusion.
This super high quality.
Keep up the illusion.
Tons of production on this podcast that we do. Anyway, so it was about 6:30. It was a couple days ago. And it's been cold, so it's kind of like just the inside of the windows is like there's condensation on them just from us breathing in here and stuff. And then
And like when we say cold, we understand that
it's like 50
most
degrees.
of you back in Canada are like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, 50 degrees.
It's
or like
50,
10,
but with the
10,
wind
8,
shield,
10.
the wind chill.
With the windshield.
With the windshield, the wind is crazy. It's coming off the Gulf. It's just, it's different. Okay?
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, anywho, the anywho count's going to get started. So we are sleeping soundly, like we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear like thud, thud, thud on the side of the van.
like right by our heads.
Right by our heads.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Dave's not here.
oh, I'm like, I feel like we're getting the knock. But then I'm like, the guy doesn't say anything. And then I see a flashlight out. And then all I hear is, open the door. And I'm like,
he comes to the side, like,
yeah,
door
to the
here,
side door.
and Josh kind of just opens the curtain just to see what he can see, but he can't see anything because it's still dark out. It was like 6 a.m.
And he's flashing a flashlight. And there's condensation on the window, so the whole window's just lit up, and I can't see who it is. So he's like, open the door. And I'm like, no, I'm not opening the door. What do you think, I'm stupid? Like, I'm not just opening the door. I'm
Yeah,
like,
who are you?
I'm like, who are you? Identify yourself. He's like, open the door. I'm like, no, I'm not going to open the door until you identify who you are. If you're an angry neighbor, I'll leave. If you're the tow truck driver, I'll leave.
Or
if you're the police,
if you're gonna like rob our van, like no, I'm gonna drive away and try to get away from
exactly.
you. Yeah.
If you're just somebody that like wants to try and rob us, then I'm not opening the door. I'm just gonna get and drive away. Really and truly, the only thing you can do in that scenario is just drive away.
Yeah.
Because like, anyways, so the guy finally says, I'm going to tow your vehicle with you in it.
If you don't
open the door. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you're either a neighbor or the tow truck driver that wants us to be gone. Right. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll open the door. I open the door. It's a police officer. And I'm like, the police officer probably should have said, this is the South Padre Island Police. You're not supposed to be parked here. You're either got to move or I'm going to give you a ticket. That would be a normal interaction. And I would have been like, again,
okay,
all we have to do is move. But then I open the door and he's just like, why wouldn't you open the door? I'm like, because I can't see.
Because you didn't identify yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, it's dark out. I can't see who it is. You're shining a flashlight in. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, I don't know if you're a lunatic
it's
or
not
nothing.
like he had his cherries on behind us or anything, so we didn't know. Like, as far as we knew, it was just some guy walking by.
No. So once he opened the door, I apologized for not opening the door because I was like, I'm sorry, but I didn't know who you were and you weren't telling me who you were. And I don't just open the door for strangers in like early morning when it's still dark.
Yeah.
So anyways, he was very friendly. He was nice. The dog met him and he was just like, you can't park where we were parked. There was no overnight parking signs.
And we had been there before, like maybe 3 or 4
It's
times.
actually a very nice part of town. Like there's $10 million mansions all around this like area that we parked. And I have a feeling that somebody was like, okay, we don't
okay with this camper van.
Yeah, with the van camped there because like we did it a couple times on that street, never really got in trouble.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like he was very polite. All we had to do was move, which is not a big deal. And so we ended up just going to a spot that was acceptable to stay. And
we just went back to bed.
Went back to bed and we slept until we got up. And
like you said, it's been 5 years of us sleeping and driving around all over the place in our van, and it's only happened twice.
It's only happened twice, and both times it was the cops on South Padre Island.
Well, the first time it was the county, like the...
there was still police.
Cameron County Police.
The Cameron County Police, yeah.
But this was like SBI Police, right?
Yeah,
so
because Cameron County, like, they take care of the parks, and then the SPI guys take care of town.
But when the Cameron County guys came, they knocked on the door and said, Cameron County Police, you're not allowed to park here anymore, you have to leave. That's what they said before, as they were knocking.
Yeah.
So it was clear from the beginning what was going on.
What was going on.
And they had cherries on.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, fine,
Yeah.
we'll get up and we'll move. But like this guy was just, I had this weird thing, I'm like, he just was like, boom, 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 open the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ah!
Yeah. So I popped up, ready for action, you know? But I'm just like, oh, okay, I got to deal with this, whatever it is. And I was really just expecting it to be either like a tow truck or a neighbor that was like, you guys can't park here or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, or if a cop pulls up behind you, they should probably put their cherries on.
Or some sort
so
of,
that
like,
you know, like, it's the cops and not just some fucking random dude.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, so anyways, I didn't get his badge number and I didn't get his name, and I would just slander it all over this podcast if I did.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he was super...
We'll drive by him probably another 100 times a day.
I know. I think we've seen him 10 times since that morning already, and I just give him the, hello, sir. Yeah.
But then he was like, well, what are you guys doing? We're like, well, we're musicians on the island. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and we've been here for like
and he
almost
kind of
2
was like,
months.
okay, just go. Whatever.
Yeah, we've almost been here for 2 months already. And like, it's just because the weather's been shite that we had like kind of tucked into a side street to like stay out of the wind. And we won't do that anymore because we're respectful people.
Usually we like to go to the end, like park on the beach kind of thing. And it's just been so windy. And when the sand blows at the van, it's not great. So we try to avoid that when it's windy, and it's been really windy.
Yeah. So anyway, so anybody that's like worried about us, and like don't be worried about it. We're not like staying in sketchy areas. We're actually staying in very, very rich areas.
Yeah.
And they don't want us losers there.
Yeah. And I thought, so we got up and we drove away, like down the same road that we were on, basically. And there's tons of little, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 spaces at a time in little stretches where there's
and
no
there was
signage,
a bunch of vans parked there.
and a lot of vans parked there. So we're like, okay, this seems like it's good. But
yeah, I think it was just we're down in the very ritzy end of town, and the van folk aren't welcome.
yeah, sometimes they're not.
It's okay. So like I said, like if you're like hearing this and you're like worried about where we're staying, don't be worried because we pick really nice places.
And the thing is there is a heavy police presence here.
Oh yeah,
it's very patrolled. So it's like, I'm just glad it was the cops and they were just like, please move, and not just
well, like I said, the only situation that can happen is we move.
Yeah.
If it's an angry neighbor, we'll move.
Yeah.
If it's the tow truck, we'll move. If it's the cops, we'll move.
Yeah.
And if it's somebody trying to rob us, I will not open the
We
door
will move.
and I'll move. Like there's really no other way to handle it other than just turn the van on and drive away.
Exactly.
So I'm like, it could have been handled with a knock, knock, you can't park here, get out. And I would have been like, okay, and just started the van and drove away.
Yeah.
But I think it was because I was like, I'm not opening the door.
Yeah.
He's like, open the door. I'm like, I'm not opening the door.
I was like, don't open the door.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you open the door to just some random dude saying open the door? That's really dumb.
That's weird.
That's like some murder movie stupid shit.
You're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, oh, hello. Yeah, like that's the dumbest shit ever.
No, that's not
it's like, maybe I'll just go into this closet and the murderer will never find
I'll go
me.
upstairs. That'll be
Yeah.
safe.
I've seen one too many.
Now, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos.
You know what they do in the closet? They never open the door.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that was one of the incidents. Yeah.
The next incident, Team Canada. How about Team Canada right now? Woo, woo.
Centering pass, McDavid scores! Connor McDavid wins it for Canada!
Yeah. So we've been feeling a little bit of angst around the Americans with the Canadian thing that's going on.
It could be because of a
certain thing happening.
certain presidential.
Not everybody. There's always just like that one guy in the crowd, and some people are like, "Oh, Canada." They chirp us about being the 51st state and all that, and we're trying to be like
Canadian about it,
holding our tongues and not react. But it's starting to get really hard. So when the game was on last night, we decided not to go out to the bar and just to watch it in the van because we figured we would be surrounded by Americans and we weren't really feeling like that maybe would be a good situation.
As I'm just like blatantly cheering
for us to be in.
Yeah.
Just right now because we're kind of having a hard time holding our tongues, right? So we're like, let's just watch it in the van. But yeah, so we got ready, we were having dinner, and then we were trying to find somewhere to stream it on, and it was like, it's not a thing anymore. You can't just free stream.
They used to have like Reddit stream links, which is illegal. Like you're like, what do they call bootlegging?
You should be able to have like a cbc.ca.
That's the thing I don't understand is that CBC just broadcasts to television that if you have rabbit ears, you can just get it, which is free. But like they don't put that same feed onto the internet. Like why wouldn't you just
have the app? Right?
Yeah, like I think so, but you got to pay for the app.
Oh,
but like.
No, I think the app's free, but then it's just like a process of like...
I don't know. So anyways, we found out we have Prime, like Amazon Prime. So like you can watch the game on Amazon Prime, but you had to sign up for Sportsnet. So then I ended up just signing up for Sportsnet just so I could watch the game because
Josh is like, I gotta watch it. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, we're not going out to the bar, so it saves us
we'd
money
end up
that
saving
way.
money anyways. I'm just gonna do like pay for a month and then stop. But
it was worth it.
Yeah, totally. It was a great game, and like we needed that win to solidify that game for us.
Yeah, like we were worried. I'm like, if US wins, it's gonna be rough.
Well, just the chirps, right? Just the chirps that you'd be
know.
getting. So at least we have that in our back pocket now, and like they have 400 million people to draw from for their hockey team, and we have 40 million people to draw from for ours, and we still won because that's our game, baby.
I was like, I'm not. As most of you know, I'm like more like a hope both teams have fun kind of person. So I watched most of the game. It went into overtime. I got into bed and I kind of dozed off. And then when Canada scored, Josh was sitting right here and I'm like sleeping right there. And he was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, I screamed quite
and
loud.
I was like, what the fuck?
I'm sure the whole parking lot where we were staying heard me scream. I was very excited about it, as I'm sure everybody else was too. So cheers.
Yes.
Team Canada winning.
Cheers.
We've got that in our back pocket. If we need to chirp anybody, it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that was a very, let's say, soothing moment.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Other than that, we've been doing pretty good. We still have like a couple indoor shows that we do every week. So whether the weather is good or not, it's been okay. We've been having a few shows that aren't canceling, but
Yeah.
our Laguna Bob show today was canceled because of rain and wind.
Yeah.
Again, it's like what? It's 10 degrees here.
Yeah, it's
so
10 degrees. It's colder, but it's not.
It's 10
not
degrees
party
here
weather.
with the 70-kilometer wind gusts is just, it's not pleasant.
Like,
so,
I don't know if you can hear that. If we quiet down, and I'll turn the volume up in this, and maybe they'll be able to hear the gusts.
we're like close to the beach.
It's our game.
Centering pass, McDavid scores!
I don't know. Maybe not. But
Anyways, so
yeah.
we've been okay, but we're just hoping for the sun to come back. And
Yeah.
we have some family coming to visit us this week, so
Yeah.
the forecast looks better for them too, which is great. So
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited. Like Katie was saying, we've got a bunch of shows coming up. We have indoor shows and outdoor shows. And the dog is really the only one that's real upset. Like, we can look at her phone and watch movies. And,
or we can go out to bars, and there's a couple bars you can bring your dogs to, but most of them are patios only.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's been hard for her because
Yeah.
we haven't been walking in and out as much, but
Yeah.
it's just how it goes.
We did go to the Reef this morning because the dog can go in there, and they serve coffee with Baileys. And, like, that is top of the line. So shout out to Coral Reef for
Coral
having the
Reef.
heat on and for serving coffee with Baileys, and for
we just
letting
try not
dogs in.
to bring her in there too long because then she starts to smell like the smoke.
Yeah, well, it's a very smoky place. But
Yeah.
this morning, I'm an idiot. I walked in and I'm like, "Can I get 2 coffees and Baileys? Do you have to-go cups?" And she's like, "You're in a bar." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "You can't just walk out the front door with Baileys?" I'm like, was a very dumb... I'm just like, what? Like, this isn't like my house and I'm just making
Yeah.
Baileys and walking out to the car with it? I'm like,
We're
that...
like plugged into the electrical outside
Yeah,
and just
that's-
like living our lives.
Yeah.
Like, what? We can't have a Bailey's out in the van?
Yeah, so I was corrected quickly about that. So then we just went inside and had a Baileys and coffee with the
Yeah,
dog.
so at least
which is
Ruby
very
got
nice.
to go in, and we've been bringing her up for quick little bouts, runs, and pees and
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just one of those things.
One of those things.
It's a rainy day, and tomorrow's supposed to be kind of the same. So
Yeah. So if there's 2 lessons to learn, you got to watch where you park, and you don't run your mouth until the final game's over, boys. We'll catch you on the next one.
see you guys.
See ya.